people said no. A lot of people said, I don't want to get involved. This is, not my thing. It's just a little too weird. And I tell you that story because you have to remember that when you go out and tell people why you support this guy. It's because he never wavered, ever. When other people did. Other people were too scared to take this on, and this guy did not. All through the arrows that came at him this entire time, even to today, he's still here. That's rare to find in politics. A lot of people are in this to move up the ladder, get them within the establishment, make money, move to Congress, move to DC. It's very hard to find a guy that's going to do what's best for the state, for the country. This is this guy right here. He loves this country. He loves this state. And I haven't seen that many times being down there. This is my 3rd year at the legislature. You don't see genuinely good people like this guy right here. And so when you go out there and people ask you, why Mark Finchem? Why this guy? You say, look at everybody else. And I know the other candidates. They're not bad people. But this guy has never wavered since day one. Now others are starting to come out and say, oh yeah, we have issues. No. Where were you in November? Where were you when this country needed you? To take a look, right? Because we all know something was wrong. Why not take a look at the elections? Why wouldn't you take that step and just look? Nothing's there, fine, we move on. If something's there, we fix it. And this guy is going to make sure this never happens on our clock again. This is the guy I want running our elections. So I know he's in it for the right reasons. And this is why I 100% support you. From day one till now, until the moment you leave that office, you always have my support. I hope you all join me.
And then the gunny. Senator Borelli really doesn't need an introduction, but I'm going to tell you he has been a coach, been one of those guys who, when things are almost unbearable, says, get your ass out of the foxhole and let's get back in the fight. So, with that, the Senate Majority Whip, Mr. Sonny Brown.
We've all heard all the update, getting it up to the hearing, and then we got that, and of course we poured we started a grass fire. They said, Mark, you're gonna be the lead dog in this sled, let's get this rolling. Leo and I will back you up and take care of whatever we need to do to get this rolling. And it started the grass fire. Of course, my personality, I threw gas on that fire in the Senate. Because if you're not making waves, you're not swimming, right? So we finally got the Senate hearing, big battle. The odds are 50-1. The media, the Democrats, every leftist organization in the world fighting our subpoenas. We have a Judas in the Senate that sides with the Democrats and whatever. Anyway, we finally get into court, finally get the audit started. Again, still fighting, more resistance, more obstruction, everything under the sun. We finally get the audit, 90% of it done. And of course, we have the results. And of course, the media goes on their own little spin. I tell you, they got more spin than the Beatles LP. I mean, these guys are amazing. For younger people, that's a record that used to go. But they criticize everything. But I'm going to tell you, one of the things that's really egregious is the fact that they're actually criticizing the 1,500 volunteers that did the painstaking work day in, day out for 100,000 hours. Their own time, their own money, no reward. They had nothing to gain by that except for they wanted to see the truth. That's all they wanted. They wanted us to step up and support them. And we did. We're backing them up. The media's going after them, criticizing them, showing total, and of course the supervisors get total contempt. But, nobody likes to get shot at. Nobody likes the bad names that they've been calling us and everything else. course, me, I come from a different cloth. If they're not shooting at you, you're not a threat. So you have to acknowledge that. And you just have to ignore the noise on the battlefield and just focus on the mission. So when, you know, the odds are 50-1, it just makes the victory that much more sweeter. Now me, I kind of thrive on the fight because my mom said I have more heart than brains. But, yeah, I know.
Snoring dinner.
Yeah, sure, but,
She's Italian.
but, you know, like I said, when they're shooting at you and they're coming after you, it means you're over the target. And when they're calling us bad names, they're trying to intimidate them, and of course, I remind them, I did 22 years in the Marine Corps, I've been married twice, I'm not afraid of terrorists, I'm not afraid of this garbage, so, anyway, that's just a joke.
They'll get it next Tuesday.
Yeah. But it's about leaders that step up when it's time to lead. You're gonna have the people that always, the strap hangers, the ones that wanna hang on and come on afterwards, that's fine. Come on back up afterwards. Many hands make light work. But if it wasn't for leaders stepping up, if you're not, you can tell you're not really a leader when you're walking down the street and there's nobody following you, you're just on a stroll. I'm gonna tell you this, 20 years in the Marine Corps, I know what leadership is all about. I've seen it, I know what courage is all about. Mark Finchem is that leader, he's that courage, and he is gonna be a great Secretary of State. I said that on November 30th. I know I plugged that and you kind of got ticked off at me and I said, I need to run for Secretary of State.
Looking forward to going home.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what, that's another good point. He's termed out. He needs his job elite like he needs a hole in the head. But you're willing to step up and do the job. And everybody laughs at us. You guys make $24,000 a year, you don't make anything, you're taking all this heat for everything, is it really worth it? Yeah, it's worth it. It's worth it. How much value do we put on our country? How much American blood and treasure do we spend to have secure and fair elections in our country? Our founding fathers, the last paragraph of the Declaration of Independence. Anyway, Mark Finchem's our leader. He's gonna be a great leader. Folks, it needs support. When you go in the battlefield, you need ammo. And that checkbook is ammo. We need support. Mark Finchem needs that ammo if we're gonna take on the mainstream media and signs and all that other stuff that we need. But, so I'm asking, begging for your support. You know, write big checks, you know. I don't have an opponent, so you can write a big check and instead of giving it to me, give it to him. Mark.
Thank you very much. So I'm glad Commissioner Carrick brought up his service on 9/11. At 0800, February 28, 1978, I took the oath to protect and defend this country. Actually, it was Michigan, but not Arizona. Against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And ladies and gentlemen, the enemy is inside the water. Our republic is virtually gone because we have individuals who do not know the power of the Constitution, what our colleagues some 257 years ago reached out across time and left us. In the 10th Amendment, there are limited and discrete powers that are given by the states to the federal government. Now, you wouldn't know it by the way they act, but they are limited, they are discrete, and they are confined. But as for the states, all power is not in the Constitution specifically given to the federal government, reserves to the state. Those are the unenumerated powers. Those are the powers, as I believe Jefferson said, leave it to the people's representatives, this is paraphrased, and they will set affairs straight. So, there is a doctrine called the doctrine of the lesser magistrate. And if you're a PC, if you are a law enforcement officer, a sheriff, sheriff's deputy, a legislator,